Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Travis Kendrick. I am a third-year graduate student in the directing program here, and Evita is my thesis production here, so the culmination of all my work. I'm originally from Virginia. I grew up doing theater. I was a performer first and went to school for musical theater, so I have a musical theater training as my background. And then lived in New York City and worked regionally in theaters across the country for about 5 years before coming to grad school out here in California. Evita, the movie with Madonna, was a movie that I grew up watching. So my love of musical theater and theater in general, in part, is informed by things like the movie Evita. So it's something that's been near and dear to my heart for a while. And Evita, I think, is pretty relevant to the election season that we're in now, and the idea that candidates have a platform to share their voice and influence a lot of people. And with modern technology, what they didn't have in Evita's day was the idea that you can tweet it and Facebook it in the moment. So I think that idea of being able to share your voice and your political voice is something we can all relate to.
Can you tell me a little bit about the cast?
Sure, absolutely. And actually, I did do all of the casting myself. We have Megas, which is a group audition for all of our main stage shows, so all 6 of the shows in the season at the beginning of the year. And from then we have a whole weekend of callbacks where all the different directors call back all the people that they're considering. And then we have a big casting meeting where all of that gets decided. So I'm very fortunate and excited to have the cast that we have. And different, this is the largest cast that UCI Drama has ever had for a main stage musical. We have over 80 folks in the cast, so huge, and we have a large choral ensemble of 60-some individuals who, again, like when thinking about sharing your voice, have this enormous sound, and they can pack a powerful impact. So another cool thing about our cast is that the 4 historically based roles in the show, Evita, Che, Juan Perón, and Magaldi, are all true to history, and they are all played by Latina actors, which I think is a really exciting thing to be able to add that kind of truthfulness to the role.
What do you look for in your casting?
Sure. I know that they sometimes say in the theater business that it factor. So there's some sort of special shine or sparkle that individuals have. In the show, there's a line called just a little bit of star quality. And I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. So with Evita specifically, it's that person that it could have been anyone, but this one was special. She had that star quality, and that was part of the reason why, with her being able to use her star quality, she was able to get where she did.
Also, what can my audience expect to see if they actually decide to come here and see the show?
Sure, of course. I think they can expect to see a high caliber, high quality production. We are in the Irvine Barclay Theater, which is exciting, and that means that it's a roadhouse. So I think you can expect to see something that's quite as polished, just like if it was a touring production. And it's a concert staging, so you'll get to see some of the seams that we normally don't see in theater. We'll see the orchestra; they'll be a little bit more in view than hidden down in the pit. They'll be kind of in front of the stage. You'll see the actors come in and out of character by donning costume pieces and hats and props and things right in front of your very eyes. And you'll see in the background, but in some ways kind of the theoretical foreground, all of the faces of our choral ensemble being the sea of people, the kind of moving backdrop of how the people can really influence change and have a voice in our political leaders.
Yeah, this is a pretty short run. Usually I actually see the show before I actually do the interviews, so I really can't give a review one way or another. But one thing I'm actually usually impressed by theater from colleges, usually it's actually a pretty safe bet. It's not going to be, you're not going to go there and someone's going to forget their lines. You're not going to be there and someone's going to be terrible. Usually, consistently 100% of the time, you'll see pretty good quality work there. Why do you think that's the case?
I think it has a lot to do with when you're at a university, you're in the mode of training, and so a lot of the things that I think are emphasized in the training, and specifically at UCI, is that idea of professionalism. We run our productions like a regional theater model. So everything from taking the 10-minute breaks after an hour and 20 minutes to, professional coming in, knowing the words, like reviewing on your own, all those sorts of things. It's a training ground for having a professional career as an actor, as a director, as a designer. So we all kind of embody that. And I think that's probably why you're seeing that reflected in the performances.
One more thing, actually I was on the internet looking up at musicians, and I came across this article, who were the richest musicians in the world. So I said, well, take a look at this. I saw, obviously I'd see people like, Elton John.
Right.
He's been working since the 70s, a lot of hits. Obviously he'd be there. I also saw Paul McCartney there, obviously from the Beatles, right, from the 60s. Obviously he'd be the richest guy, right? He wasn't. I was surprised the richest musician in the entire world was actually Andrew Lloyd Webber. That amazed me, because musical theater is notorious for being underpaid. You got any comments on that?
It makes me think about perhaps a reflection to Evita Peron herself. There's a lot of the jury is out still, I think, in 2016 about Evita Peron. Was she a master manipulator, or was she the spiritual leader and a saint of Argentina? She's arguably the most influential Latina woman still to date, and I think there are still polarizing views about her work. She had the Eva Peron Foundation, where she raised a lot of money for charity, and that was one of the main points of contention in her life of, was she stealing money, was she kind of funneling the money, where are the books, or how, isn't she doing a lot of good? And I think people have diverse views, and I think the same could be said about Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's the richest musician, is he hoarding money? How did he get all that money? What does that mean? But he also has the Andrew Lloyd Webber Foundation, which I find fascinating. He's always had a special place in his heart for school children and young people, and so a lot of his work and a lot of his proceeds and scholarships and things go back into the youth of England and perhaps around the world as well. So I think that it makes me think that, again, with platform power and money go hand in hand a lot of times. You have the potential to do a lot of good or to do a lot of other things, and I think he hopefully is, with his foundation, giving a lot of good back too.
Okay. So, you're pretty well onto your career and all that. Is there any kind of advice you can give to the students out there who actually want to be a professional and all that, who want to get a career in musical theater? Well, what's your best advice you can give them?
Sure. It might not seem like advice at first, but one of the most interesting things to revel in that I was told very early on in my career was, if you can do anything else, do it. And at first I bucked that, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And then I realized that it's really hard, and if you can do anything else, perhaps you should consider doing it. So I guess the moral of the story after that would be that if you can't do anything else, then you really should do this. There's this idea of never giving up, never backing down, taking criticism well, applying notes, really doing difficult, tricky, hard work, a lot of self-analysis, and if you have to be an artist, then you will be.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed our talk, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your production of Evita. When is it anyway?
It's May 27th and 28th at the Irvine Barclay Theater. 27th, it's at 8 p.m., and on the 28th, we have a matinee and an evening performance, so 2 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Great, I'll see you then. All right. Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you.